Welcome back to Tiny T Gaming. Today, I'm going to be talking through why I think the Imperium should bring back a sort of legion-sized force to actively combat the Tyranids. This is based on the events, the devastation of Baal, and how the combined might of nearly 30,000 Astartes of sanguineous bloodline could not fully defeat I Fleet Leviathan. Before I do though, please like and subscribe. The channel's grown massively and all of your support is really appreciated. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and what you think the Imperium needs to do to actively combat and finally defeat the Tyranids. It's really interesting hearing all of your different opinions. So, getting into it. The Tyranids are, without a doubt, the greatest threat to sentient life the galaxy has ever faced. Far worse than chaos, as the Dark Gods require subjects and souls to continue their great game, but the Tyranids simply wish to feast off of everything before moving on. They also pose the greatest threat to the continued existence of every other faction within the galaxy, as even the Necrons would suffer if the Tyranids are successful, having no host race to return their souls to. In my opinion, had the Tyranids attacked prior to the Horus Heresy, but after Ullanor, then the Imperium would have had little issue in destroying the Tyranids. This is in part due to the Imperium's military might being at its zenith at this point, and the legions of Astartes having a swathe of material and numbers that humanity would never see again. Geneseed was still pure across all of the legions. The Imperium was not yet completely dogmatic in terms of technological innovation, and the Emperor was still physically present, so he could return from Terra and wage war alongside his sons. On the point of the Geneseed as well, as it was pure, recruitment and implantation was whittled down to just a year cycle for many legions, so they could pump out fresh recruits quite easily, even if they were simply just scout marines. So, 18 legions too, all at their peak, would have provided massively cohesive forces that could have quashed the Xenos threat. Compare that to the present day, even with the Primaris reinforcements and the small 1,000 Astartes strong chapters are too disjointed and not unified or numerous enough to fully threaten the Tyranids. If 30,000 Astartes were not enough to stop Leviathan, with all of their combined war machines, ships and numbers, then it shows that the cohesive force of 100,000 plus Astartes is needed to be able to actively engage and destroy the Xenos hive fleets, whilst also being able to sustain catastrophic losses and still achieve victory. The legions of old would have balked at the loss of tens of thousands of Astartes, but if need be, they would have carried out their objectives, whereas each independent chapter works separately and with limited resources and numbers. Whilst the modern chapters are still very potent and mostly at full strength thanks to the Primaris reinforcements, at least on side of Imperium Sanctus. We don't know for a fact how Imperium Nihilus is going currently, and the technological advancements of Belisarius cool. They simply cannot contend with large-scale casualties and loss of material. They must also link up with other Astartes formations on multiple chapters to have a hope of defeating large-scale threats, like the Wars of Armageddon or the Hive Fleets. Anomalous chapters aside, like the Black Templars or the Space Wolves, the majority of chapters do adhere to the Codex Astartes, even in the loosest fashion, mainly in keeping only 1,000 men under their strength at any single time, which ensures that no one man has the strength to rise against the Emperor like Horus once did. Now, I understand that the creation of a 100,000 strong Astartes force will cause political issues, and then you do have the risk in the current setting of that force turning traitor or having its own misguided civil war. But with the Lion returned and his loyalty to the Imperium and its people proven, then perhaps he could lead this force, even if just on a temporary basis, to wipe out the Tyranids once and for all. Even with all of the political issues, I think the Imperium should still create a mixed legion-size force, born from multiple loyalist bloodlines, numbering at least 100,000 Astartes, simply utilised to destroy the Tyranids once and for all. The political issues faced by Guilliman and the Lion would absolutely be worth it to wipe out the Xenos that pose the largest threat to the Imperium. With this Xenos threat destroyed, the Imperium would be able to consolidate its efforts on the other Xenos races that pose a threat and the ever-present foe that is chaos. I feel As a whole, the chapters of the Astartes are not simply up to the task of defending humanity's realm, as the Astartes were never designed to be fielded in such small numbers. They are a scalpel where before they were once used as a spear thrust. They had the capacity for losses, and they had a host of war machines and fleets. Now though, the chapters are pale shadows of their former selves, and they are simply not able to sustain losses, and they cannot recruit quick enough. So having a mixed force that numbered a huge amount of Astartes would be able to actively wipe out the Xenos threat, and then they could be disbanded or reorganised on a temporary basis as the Imperium needed. This has just been my opinion though. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you haven't already, then please like and subscribe. Your support really means a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.